Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris did an extremely brief 11-minute long interview with a local news station, Philadelphia 6 ABC. That's a local ABC affiliate, of course. Now, during that discussion, Harris made sure to brag about Dick Cheney's endorsement of her. And I don't know why she's doing this. It's the most depressing thing in the world. Okay, so if you're not familiar with former Vice President Dick Cheney and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, they both said that they will be voting for Harris earlier this month. They both endorsed her. Harris spoke glowingly about the endorsements ever since, and during her interview last week with a local ABC affiliate in Philadelphia, she was asked, what do you understand Trump's appeal to be, and how do you speak to his voters? And here's how she responded. I know that the vast majority of us as Americans have so much more in common than what separates us. And I also believe that I am accurate in knowing that most Americans want a leader who brings us together as Americans and not someone who professes to be a leader who is trying to have us point our fingers at each other. She continues, I think people want a leader who has common sense and tries to find common ground. I'm supported by over 200 Republicans who worked for both Presidents Bush, John McCain, Mitt Romney. I'm supported by former Vice President Dick Cheney, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney. And I don't know why she's doing, like, don't mention Cheney's support of you. Especially Dick Cheney. Do not mention Dick Cheney's endorsement of you. Like, why would you think that's a good idea?
Take Dick Cheney's name out of your mouth, but in the right kind of way.
And look, you love Dick Cheney, fine. Okay, but pull him aside if you guys have such a great relationship, and please ask him to stop talking about his endorsement of you.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. So guys, yeah, I think this story is more about bubbles than it is about Dick Cheney. So Kamala Harris is in a bubble where almost everyone she knows apparently think that Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney are wonderful people. That's why this is her third or fourth time now, not only mentioning it, but if you remember the debate, she kept going on and on about how proud she was to get support from Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney. Do you know what kind of a weirdo establishment bubble you have to be in to say those things out loud, especially when you're trying to win an election? Let me give you guys details and receipts as we always do. It's not a matter of our opinion. So this is from the Atlantic. When Vice President Dick Cheney left office, his approval rating stood at a staggeringly low 13%.
Mr. Cheney, I'm honored by your endorsement. I'm sure it's really gonna help my campaign.
And I'm also honored by Attila the Hun's endorsement, and I thought he maybe should have ransacked a couple of more empires and areas and said, what are you guys doing? What is wrong with you? Snap out of it. And she thinks that Cheney and MAGA are related? Wait, no, MAGA hates Cheney. You don't know that MAGA hates Cheney? That's amazing to me that they don't know that. Look, I think MAGA is deluded into thinking that Trump is anti-war. Trump killed the top Iranian general, moved our embassy. Those are very provocative acts that could have led to a giant war. He's not threatening to let Israel annex the West Bank, according to reporting in Haaretz. That would lead to a giant war. He increased drone strikes that could lead to more war. But the reason he has the rhetoric of being anti-war is because the MAGA base now is anti-war. They might not realize that they're supporting a pro-war candidate, but they are going that direction. You ask them about Dick Cheney, they hate Dick Cheney. And she thinks, I am convincing MAGA by saying how proud I am that Dick Cheney supports me. Please get someone who isn't like neck deep in the establishment on your team so they could be an interpreter for you, because you obviously don't speak that language. And I'm not just talking about MAGA, the populist left, which is gigantic, all the Bernie Sanders supporter. We all hate Dick Cheney because the Iraq war got hundreds of thousands of people killed for, look, Trump, until he did the revolt against democracy, the fake elector scheme, etc., was not as bad as Dick Cheney for all of his terribleness.
Yeah. Let's talk about Bush-era Republicans, who I loathe. I loathe them, and I loathe the fact that they have now been absorbed into the Democratic Party because Trump bad. Trump bad. So Democrats are like, oh my God, yeah, Bush-era Republicans, we can't get enough of them. We want their endorsements. I don't want you to take their endorsements. I don't want you to be friendly with them. They are the very individuals who made me interested in politics in the first place because I loathe them so much. Lied to the American people about Iraq having weapons of mass destruction, so the American public would be in agreement in doing a preemptive war in Iraq, which, to Cenk's point, killed a lot of people. Yes, Iraqis, but also the men and women in our armed services. Multiple deployments for our soldiers who went to Iraq, came home, were forced to go to Iraq again and again and again, and then came to the United States with absolutely no support when they suffered from serious mental health issues like PTSD. Torture was carried out under the Bush administration. Illegal, warrantless wiretapping of American citizens was carried out under the Bush administration. War crime after war crime after war crime, and you're honored to take Dick Cheney's endorsement?
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, real quick, okay? And then there's some faction of the left that comes for me because I think that in some pockets of this country, there is an issue with crime. They're like, you're a right winger, you're a fascist. Or if I'm ever critical of Kamala Harris, you're a right winger, you're a fascist. Okay, but she is now, second occasion, literally the second time, bragging about the endorsement of a literal war criminal. And you don't have a problem with that?
Yeah, look, I think anyone who isn't brain dead on the left would have a huge problem with that. And obviously people on the right have a problem with it. Literally the only people who like the Cheneys all live in Washington, okay? So look, you have to distinguish, guys. I know for the establishment, they're so blinded. They're more blind than MAGA is. They're more blind than anyone. So when they hear stuff like this, they're like, radicals, ridiculous. We're getting the suburban Republicans. They're going to decide this election, and we're getting them, and they're going to be the ones. And you guys are, no one believes. Dude, the number is 13%. It's not. You can go poll them now if you want. Because of all your propaganda on MSNBC for Dick Cheney, he might poll a little higher than 13%, but still a miserably unpopular politician, maybe the most unpopular politician of our lifetimes. So the establishment, if you think you're bragging about him is a good political idea, you're in a bubble, you're deluded, you're totally delusional. Oh, everybody loves Dick Cheney like us, right? No, no one likes him.
And more
snap out of your stupid, deluded bubble.
Okay, and more importantly, what I loathe even more than Dick Cheney himself is the fact that by being absorbed into the Democratic Party because they hate Trump so much, right? Well, we share a common enemy. So since we share the common enemy, come on in. It's not just that Cheney and Bush-era Republicans are endorsing Kamala Harris. It's that they have an influence on the Democratic Party, which explains the hawkishness of her DNC speech. And if you forgot about what that hawkishness sounded like, here it is.
As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world. I will make sure that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global leadership. As president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself.
The Democratic Party morphing into what the Republican Party was under Bush is not something that I celebrate, because you look at the Republican Party with JD Vance and Donald Trump and the insane lunacy that's been going on recently with their claims about Haitian migrants. I can't support that. But then you look at the Democratic side and really we're applauding and celebrating the endorsement of Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what to say. This is terrible.
So guys, one last thing. There are Republicans where you can say, oh, Mitt Romney's endorsing you. Look, I wouldn't overly brag about that either, and he's got his sets of issues, etc. But I get it. I get it, saying, hey, Mitt Romney at this point is considered a moderate Republican, and you want to bring in suburban Republicans or whatever, reasonable, rational, business-minded Republicans in, and you say, hey, Mitt Romney also supported me. 200 former Republican staffers also supported me because they realized Trump is dangerously unstable. That's not the end of the world at all. And besides which, Romney's favorite meat is hot dog. So like, we're kidding around about a video that he made, but like, we're not saying don't ever take a Republican endorsement. Don't ever say, hey, look, even other Republicans think that Donald Trump is crazy. We're saying stop bragging about a war criminal who is the worst of the Republicans. Because when you say you're bringing the worst guy they have into your party, that's not a win, that's a giant loss.
That money is pretty sweet though, because Liz Cheney has started a PAC dedicated to electing Kamala Harris, and it raised $3 million in the first half of this year alone. I'm sure that money will have no influence over the decision making that Kamala Harris would have if she gets elected.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.